is I think there's something special about Game 7 moments. But as soon as you force it, it's not special anymore. And the must-win scenario is developed over those 3 races. So you get invested. You see these people, they bleed points. They blow a tire at Atlanta. They're fighting back through adversity. It doesn't have to be 10 races long, 7 races long. But for me as a fan, one of the coolest things is having that ongoing storyline and seeing this moment. And sure, not every season's going to end at race 3 equal points. But when it does happen, it makes it that much more special and that much more intriguing. Let's harken back to our special events that we've done before. You have those 3 weeks to build into a storyline, to become a part of a storyline. And you also get the glamour of championship weekend at 3 different tracks. And you can show why Tyler Reddick is so good at Homestead and why he had a great point state there and why Joey Logano is so good at Phoenix. And then you throw in Charlotte or another track like that. And people who have developed very good abilities at these different racetracks can go out and perform and have their good points day. But you still have that almost a game 3 format where if somebody's doing well, they have to still get to that final round. And they still have the playoffs. You still have the eliminations. You reduce the amount of races on the earlier ones so the pressure is even higher. And those who have clutched out to get a Mickey Mouse win earlier in the season have 2 races instead of 3 to prove that they should stay. And I think the storylines get more intense.
These are really good points. I was just imagining we are at Phoenix and the person who wins the Phoenix race did not win the championship, and the person who won the championship ran 8th because their teammate let them go on the last lap to get them that 1 more point. And winner of the championship race was not the champion.
No.
I was imagining when in NASCAR history has the winner of the final race won the final race, but it wasn't enough. When has that happened? I'm trying to think.
I've done it in ARCA once.
You won the championship race, but it wasn't enough to win the championship.
It lost by 1 spot.
Yeah,
because a certain car pulled over and let Lofton get a spot.
Ooh,
yeah. I led the most laps, which was 5 points. Won the race, which was max points. Lost the championship by 1 spot. So I know that. Yeah. I know what that feels like.
But that's a hell of a storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I
manipulation to win the championship.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, I guess we have proven that is a great storyline.
It's going to be in any format at this point, unless they come up with some draconian penalty, which they say they're going to look at in the offseason. I don't know how you stop it, but Josh, to go to your
a detonator bolted to every single vehicle. And if race manipulation is suspicious,
boom.
There's a monkey in a room. Makes the call.
I love it. I was thinking you just do when you go to K1 Speed, they'll just reduce your kart speed to kart speed 3 instead of 4. So suddenly you're just missing 2 cylinders.
No. We can't have any of that. So, Josh, I actually liked your point of getting invested in the storyline a little bit more, and that is a cool point. And maybe it's a more natural Game 7 moment if all 4 of them come in there within a close shot of making it happen. I wonder who would have been the champion of these 4 if you took the last 3 races and put them together.
Joey Logano. I'm just kidding.
I bet it is. Watch. You'd have to include stage points, because now stage points would be a thing in the championship. So that's a question, and I bet maybe it's Reddick.
It's not. Yeah, that's not. Now the more we talk about it, that's just not a scenario. Not with stage points. I guess it's hard to put this cat back in the bag. It's hard to put this cat back in the bag. I'm too addicted to the idea that it is very clear and obvious on the final race who is going to win the championship.
That's what I like.
It's the highest finisher out of the 4.
And it's so easy, and it's so simple, and it makes it so simple in the end. And there's all these other cars out there, which is always a hard thing to answer to new fans or people that don't watch racing. They're like, well, wait, why are all the other cars out there?
What Josh is saying has a lot of merit. I don't disagree that what he's saying is interesting and true, But like Parker, as someone who has been on TV on the broadcast side as recently as last week, are we at any shortage of storylines for any given Cup race?
There's been some ones like a midweek Kansas race in 2020. I remember stretching for some stuff. Like at times,
for a championship weekend, is there any?
No, there's never
going
going to be a championship weekend because also the final race of the year, there's so many storylines because you have, and we occasionally get these in the midst of the championship four, but it is tough at this race, especially because it is a very short race. Remember, 312 miles is a short race for the Cup Series. It's a short broadcast for us.
Right.
Where, like, there's battles going on throughout the field. Maybe it's a battle to finish 20th in points or 25th in points, which I've always tried to harp on and give precedence to. Maybe it's, trying to finish 5th in points. That's always a battle or a point of talk, something to talk about. Or it's a team that's, I don't know, it's the, Martin Truex Jr., it's his last full-time race. We've got plenty of time to talk about that in the beginning portion of the race before the championship sort of took hold as the main storyline. So especially a final race of the year, there's a lot to dive into. You've got teams like Stewart-Haas shutting down. Like that sort of thing is always going to be sort of those different stories out there that we would actually dive into for sure. So I don't think you would ever end up at a final race without an abundance of storylines and things to discuss and be paying attention to. It might not have the Game 7 moment, but there's definitely stuff out there. One of the things I heard, and I can't remember where I heard this. Maybe it's the teardown. Maybe it was just people talking to me at NBC. I can't remember. Anyway, one of the things I heard with the 3-race round to decide the champion was that the championship 4 that make that round only are getting points amongst themselves. So it's always going to be tight in the final race. That is a bunch of malarkey. Because how in the world do we explain why there's all these other cars out there? like talk about
and then
literally no relevance whatsoever.
Okay, so then they still manipulate the race by letting each other go, so that the 4 leaders just race against each other.
It's exact. Like, and
I don't know.
Here's the thing: when the 20 and Justin Allgaier started behind me all the way at the back of the field on Saturday night, of course the 7 was able to drive into the top 10. I'm going to be brutally honest, and I think every driver would tell you this. We give them a lot of room because they got purple spoilers, and it's like, whoa, I don't even want to be
unless you're Riley Herbst.
Unless you're Riley Herbst, but he's racing for the win, so it's different. Even AJ, I caught him towards the end of stage 1 and then raced with him side by side in stage 2. I gave it a lap of racing him side by side. He kind of got tight with me off of turn 2 one lap, and I was like, all right, buddy, it's yours. Go ahead. And that's just because they're racing for something bigger. Now, if you did that over 3 races, that's a weird thing. And I know we're not the story if we're not the championship 4, but I don't think anyone's dived into what do all those other drivers do. To your point, so now you're going to have 3 races where you basically just don't race these people, And you might say, well, they have those points in elimination races and that sort of thing. But even in those, it doesn't feel there's something different. Like racing an elimination race, I don't even think about the playoff people when I've been knocked out. It doesn't even cross my mind. I don't care. Unless you're somewhat my teammate or something, I just literally don't care.
Well, it's because there's just more of them, right?
Yeah, there's more of them, and there's just
there's too many to worry about.
Too many to worry about. Who cares? But when we get to Phoenix, it is it's an unsaid thing. No one even has to say it. We all just sort of say, okay, we're going to race you mittens on because we're not racing for anything like they are. They're racing for the biggest thing there is all year.
That's it.
We solved it. Okay.
That's all I got. Yeah, I don't really have I'm definitely not saying it's not a simple thing. It's not simple. It's complicated, and it's not clear. But I will share what side of it that I am on, and that is I'm pretty supportive of our playoff. If NASCAR did not change the playoff format for the next 2 years, I think I'd be okay with it. There's nothing really pressing me to want to change the playoff format, I think.
And now we've lost our one listener because we didn't say F NASCAR. F your playoffs. Screw you. Like Twitter has been the echo chamber that is Twitter and the algorithm of people that are in this apparent uproar that a guy who actually, I believe, by the way, he won 4 races this year, which would put him second in wins.
But
yet people don't think he's
average
deserving
finish.
of a championship?
What's that?
He won 4 races this year and is not deserving of a championship, according to.
Apparently, you can't get hot in the playoffs and win 3 races and win the championship because that's just not allowed. It's like, come on. It's just people.
What races did he win this year?
He won Nashville, which was that the crazy fuel mileage, crazy race where they might still be doing green white checkers right now.
I remember that.
Then he won the first race of the playoffs at where were we? Where were we then?
Darlington?
Where did we start? Where did we start?
No.
Kansas? No. What the hell? Why
Let
can
me
I
find
not
that
remember?
schedule for you. Our first race of the playoffs was Atlanta. He won it at Super Speedway.
He won Atlanta. There you go. So he wins Atlanta. That gets him in the round of 8. He doesn't make it technically out of the round of 8 until the 48 gets penalized. He then wins Las Vegas, once again on a strategy call that was genius. Made Paul Wolf the winningest crew chief in the NASCAR Cup Series, by the way. Also, shout out to Paul Wolf, 3 championships as well. His first one with Brad Keselowski, 2 with Joe Logano. So that guy's a beast, total beast, and is now solidified as the winningest active crew chief in the Cup Series. So if you're trying to poke holes in this thing, you're going after a team that's pretty much a behemoth.
Like if a driver that averaged 4 wins a year for his entire career would be an all-time great.
Yep, easy. And he's only 34. He's basically my exact age, Joey. I think we're 1 month apart. So we've had similar careers. Pretty similar. Yeah, achieved the same things. There was a little bit of, by the way, on the OEM stuff, there was a little bit of stuff that went down in practice where the one car was actively blocking the 12 and another Chevy pulled out in front of the 22 and tried to slow them down. And I did find that kind of poetic because it's practice. So,
Oh my gosh, the OEM shenanigans are just not going down. It's
we're gonna be dealing with this one for a while.